infinite. It's omniscient and omnipotent repose. It's immobile silence, absolute and alone. He seemed the wideness of a boundless sky. He seemed the passion of a sorrowless earth. He seemed the burning of worldwide sun. To look upon each other, soul, soul. Then, like an anthem from the heart's lucent gate, a voice soared up, whose magic sound could turn the poignant weeping of the earth to sobs of rapture, and her cry to spirit song. A smile came ripening out in her wide eyes. Then, with a smile august as noonday heaven, the Godhead of the vision wonderful. How shall earth's nature and man's nature rise to the celestial levels, yet earth abide? O flame, withdraw into thy luminous self, or else return to thy original night. On a sheer summit above thought and word, but Savitri answered to the radiant God, in vain thou temptest with solitary bliss two spirits saved out of a suffering world. Since God has made earth, earth must make in her God. What hides within her breast, she must reveal. But the God answered to the woman's heart, O living power of the incarnate Word, arise upon a ladder of great words to the infinity where no world can be. Ascend, O soul, into thy timeless self. Choose destiny's curve and stamp thy will on them. In an ineffable world, she lived fulfilled, an energy of the triune infinite, in a measureless reality she dwelt. Around her, some tremendous spirit lived, mysterious flame around a melting pearl, and in the phantom of abolished space there was a voice unheard by ears that cried, "Choose, Spirit, thy supreme choice not given again. Accept, O music weariness of notes, O stream wide breaking of thy channel banks," and silently the woman's heart replied, "Thy peace, O Lord, a boon within to keep, amid the roar and run of wild time, for the magnificent soul of man on earth. Limitless like ocean round a lonely isle, a second time the eternal cried arose, wide open are the ineffable gates in front. Immeasurable the woman's nature spoke. Thy oneness, Lord, in many approaching heart, a third time swelled the great admonishing chord. I spread abroad the refuge of my wings, the sob of things was answer to the voice, and passionately the woman's heart replied, "Thy energy, Lord, to seize on woman and man, to take all things and creatures in their grief and gather them into a mother's arms." Solemn and distant, like a seraph's laugh, a last great time, the warning sound was heard. I opened the wide eye of solitude to uncover the voiceless rapture of my bliss. Then all the woman yearningly replied, "Thy embrace, which rends the living knot of pain. Thy joy, O Lord, in which all creatures breathe, thy magic flowing waters of deep love, thy sweetness give to me, to earth and men.
To use you to link this creation with earth and men. A little bit further down, halfway down on 698, he says, I lay my hands upon thy soul of flame. I lay my hands upon thy heart of love. I yoke thee to my power of work in time. Because thou hast obeyed my timeless will, and because thou hast chosen to share earth's struggle and fate, and leaned in pity over earthbound men, and turned aside to help and yearn to save, I bind by thy heart's passion thy heart to mine, and lay my splendid yoke upon thy soul. Now will I do in thee my marvelous works. So he is going to utilize Savitri's force to uplift the earth. He's going to continue speaking in this line as we continue now on page 700, about halfway down. Thou shalt know me. So B, you can begin.
Thou shalt know me in the wheeling forces of my universe shall cry to thee the summons of my name. Delight shall drop down from my nectarous moon. My fragrance seize thee in the jasmine's snare. My eye shall look upon thee from the sun. Mirror of nature's secret spirit made, thou shalt reflect my hidden heart of joy. Thou shalt drink down my sweetness unalloyed in my pure lotus cup of starry brim. My dreadful hands laid on thy bosom shall force thy being bathed in fiercest longing's streams. Thou shalt discover the one and quivering note, and cry the harp of all my melodies, and roll my foaming wave in seas of love.
Thank you. Shnita.
Even my disaster's clutch shall be to thee the ordeal of my rapture's contrary shape. In pain's self shall smile on thee my secret face. Thou shalt bear my ruthless beauty unabridged amid the world's intolerable wrongs, trampled by the violent misdeeds of time. Cry out to the ecstasy of my rapture's touch. All beings shall be to thy life my emissaries, drawn to me on the bosom of thy friend, compelled to meet me in thy enemy's eyes. My creatures shall demand me from thy heart. Thou shalt not shrink from any brother's soul. Thou shalt be attracted helplessly to all. Men seeing thee shall feel my hands of joy. In sorrow's pangs feel steps of the world's delight. Their life experience its tumultuous shock in the mutual craving of two opposites. Hearts touched by thy love shall answer to my call, discover the ancient music of the spheres in the revealing accents of thy voice, and nearer draw to me because thou art enamored of thy spirit's loveliness. They shall embrace my body in thy soul, hear in thy life the beauty of my laugh, know the thrilled bliss with which I made the worlds.
Thank you.
All that thou hast shall be for others' bliss. All that thou art shall to my hands belong. I will pour delight from thee as from a jar. I will whirl thee as my chariot through the ways. I will use thee as my sword and as my lyre. I will play on thee my minstrelsies of thought. And when thou art vibrant with all ecstasy, and when thou livest one spirit with all things, then will I spare thee not my living fires, but make thee a channel for my timeless force. My hidden presence led the unknowing on. From thy beginnings in earth's voiceless bosom, through life and pain and time and will and death, through outer shocks and inner silences, along the mystic roads of space and time, to the experience which all nature hides. Who hunts and sees me, my captive grows. This shalt thou henceforth learn from thy heartbeats. Forever love, O beautiful slave of God. O lasso of my rapture's widening noose, become my cord of universal love.
Thank you.
The spirit ensnared by thee forced to delight of creation's oneness sweet and fathomless, compelled to embrace my myriad unities and all my endless forms and divine souls. O mind, grow full of the eternal's peace. O world, cry out thy immortal litany. Built is the golden tower, the flame child born. Descend to life with him thy heart desires. O Satyavan, O luminous Savitri, I sent you forth of old beneath the stars, a dual power of God in an ignorant world, in a hushed creation shut from limitless self, bringing down God to the insentient globe, lifting earth beings to immortality. In the world of my knowledge and my ignorance, where God is unseen and only is heard a name, and knowledge is trapped in the boundaries of mind, and life is hauled in the dragnet of desire, and matter hides the soul from its own sight. You are my force at work to uplift Earth's fate, myself that moves up the immense incline between the extremes of the spirit's night and day.
Thank you.
You are my force at work.
No.
Oh, no.
Fourth line from the bottom.
59.
He is my soul that climbs from omniscient night through life and mind and supernature's vast to the supernal light of timelessness, and my eternity hid in moving time, and my boundlessness cut by the curve of space. It climbs to the greatness it has left behind, and to the beauty and joy from which it fell, to the closeness and sweetness of all things alive, divine, to light without bounds and life illimitable, taste of the depths of the ineffable bliss, touch of the immortal and the infinite. He is my soul that gropes out of the beast to reach humanity's heights and loosen thought and the vicinity of truth sublime. He is the Godhead growing in human lives and in the body of earth beings' forms. He is the soul of man climbing to God in nature's search out of earth's ignorance.
Thank you.
O Savitri, thou art my spirit's power, the revealing voice of my immortal world, the face of truth upon the roads of time, pointing to the souls of man, the routes to God. While the dim light from the veiled spirit's peak falls upon matter's stark, inconscient sleep, as if a pale moonbeam on a dense glade, and mind in a half-light moves amid half-truths, and the human heart knows only human love. And life is a stumbling and imperfect force, and the body counts out its precarious days. You shall be born into man's dubious hours, in forms that hide the soul's divinity, and show through veils of the earth's doubting air my glory, breaking as through clouds a sun, or burning like a rare and inward fire, and with my nameless influence fill men's lives. Yet shall they look up as to peaks of God, and feel God like a circumambient air, and rest on God as a motionless base.
Thank you.
Yet shall there glow on mind like a horn moon, the spirit's crescent splendor in pale skies, and light man's life upon his Godward road. But more there is concealed in God's beyond, that shall one day reveal its hidden face. Now mind is all and its uncertain ray. Mind is the leader of the body and life. Mind is a thought-driven chariot of the soul, carrying the luminous wanderer in the night to vistas of a far uncertain dawn, to the end of the spirit's fathomless desire, to its dream of absolute truth and utter bliss. There are greater destinies mind cannot surmise, fixed on the summit of the evolving path. The traveler now treads in the ignorance, unaware of his next step, not knowing his goal. Mind is not all his tireless climb can reach. There's a fire on the apex of the worlds. There's a house of the eternal's light. There's an infinite truth, an absolute power.
Thank you.
The spirit's mightiness shall cast of its mask. Its greatness shall be felt, shaping the world's course. It shall be seen in its own veilless beams. A star rising from the inconscious night, a sun climbing to supernature's peak, abandoning the dubious middle way. A few shall glimpse the miraculous origin, and some shall feel in you the secret force, and they shall turn to meet a nameless dread. Adventures into a mightier day, ascending out of the limiting breaths of mind, they shall discover the world's huge design, and step into the truth, the right, the vast. You shall reveal to them the hidden eternities, the breadth of infinitudes not yet revealed, some rapture of the bliss that made the world, some rush of the force of God's omnipotence, some beam of the omniscient mystery.
Thank you.
But when the hour of the divine draws near, the mighty mother shall take birth in time, and God be born into the human clay, in forms made ready by your human leaves. Then shall the truth supreme be given to men. There is a being beyond the being of mind, an immeasurable cast into many forms, a miracle of the multitudinous one. There is a consciousness mind cannot touch, its speech cannot utter, nor its thought reveal. It has no home on earth, no center in man, yet is the source of all things thought and done, the fount of the creation and its works. It is the origin of all truth here, the sun of mind's fragmentary rays, infinity's heaven that spills the rain of God, the immense that calls to man to expand the spirit, the wide aim that justifies his narrow attempts, a channel for the little his tests of bliss.
Thank you.
Some shall be made the glory's receptacles and vehicles of the Eternal's luminous power. These are the high forerunners, the heads of time, the great deliverers of earthbound mind, the high transfigurers of human clay, the firstborn of a new supernal race. The incarnate dual power shall open God's door. Eternal supermind touch early earthly time. The Superman shall wake in mortal man and manifest the hidden demigod, or grow into the God-light and God-force, revealing the secret deity in the cave. Then shall the earth be touched by the Supreme. His bright, unveiled transcendence shall illumine the mind and heart and force the life and act to interpret his inexpressible mystery in a heavenly alphabet of divinity's signs. His living cosmic spirit shall unring, annulling the decree of death and pain, erasing the formulas of the ignorance with the deep meaning of beauty and life's hid sense, the being ready for immortality, his regard crossing infinity's mystic waves, bring back to nature her early joy to live, the metered heartbeats of a lost delight, the cry of a forgotten ecstasy, the dance of the first world creating bliss.
Thank you.
The immanent shall be the witness God, watching on his many-petaled lotus throne, his actionless being and his silent might, ruling earth's nature by eternity's law, a thinker waking the inconscious world, an immobile center of many infinitudes, in his thousand-pillared temple by time's sea. Then shall the embodied being live as one, who is a thought, a will of the divine, a mask or robe of his divinity, an instrument and partner of his force, a point or line drawn in the infinite, a manifest of the imperishable. The supermind shall be his nature's fount. The eternal truth shall mold his thoughts and acts. The eternal truth shall be his light and guide. Then shall change a magic order come, overtopping this mechanical universe. A mightier race shall inhabit the mortal's world.
Thank you.
On nature's luminous tops, on the spirit's ground, the Superman shall reign as king of life, make earth almost the mate and peer of heaven, and lead towards God and truth man's ignorant heart, and lift towards Godhead his mortality. A power released from circumscribing bounds, its height pushed up beyond death's hungry reach. Life's tops shall flame with the immortal's thoughts. Light shall invade the darkness of its base. Then, in the process of evolving time, all shall be drawn into a single plan. A divine harmony shall be earth's law. Beauty and joy remold her way to live. Even the body shall remember God. Nature shall draw back from mortality, and spirit's fires shall guide the earth's blind force. Knowledge shall bring into the aspirant's thought a high proximity to truth and God. The supermind shall claim the world for light and thrill with love of God, the enamored heart, and place light's crown on nature's lifted head, and found light's reign on her unshaking base.
Thank you.
A greater truth than earth's shall roof in earth, and shed its sunlight on the roads of mind. A power infallible shall lead the thought. A seeing poisons govern life and act. In earthly hearts kindle the immortal's fire. A soul shall wake in the inconscious house. The mind shall be God's vision's tabernacle, the body intuition's instrument, and life a channel for God's visible power. All earth shall be the Spirit's manifest home, hidden no more by the body and the life, hidden no more by the mind's ignorance. An unerring hand shall shape event and act. The Spirit's eyes shall look through nature's eyes. The Spirit's force shall occupy nature's force. This world shall be God's visible garden house. The earth shall be a field and camp of God. Man shall forget consent to mortality and his embodied frail impermanence.
Thank you.
This
This universe shall unseal its occult sense. Creation's process change its antique front. And ignorant evolution's hierarchy release the wisdom chained below its base. The spirit shall be the master of his world, lurking no more in form's obscurity. And nature shall reverse her action's rule. The outward world disclose the truth it veils. All things shall manifest the covert God. All shall reveal the Spirit's light and might, and move to its destiny of felicity. Even should a hostile force cling to its reign and claim its right, perpetual sovereignty, and man refuse his high spiritual fate, yet shall the secret truth in things prevail. For in the march of all fulfilling time, the hour must come of the transcendence will. All turns and winds towards his predestined ends in nature's fixed, inevitable course, decreed since the beginning of the worlds in the deep essence of created things. Even there shall come as a high crown of awe the end of death, the death of ignorance.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. But first, high truth must set her feet on earth, and man aspire to the eternal's light, and all his members feel the Spirit's touch, and all his life obey an inner force. This too shall be, for a new life shall come, a body of the superconscious truth, emanative field of supernature's mights. It shall make earth's nascent ground truth's colony, make even the ignorance a transparent robe, through which shall shine the brilliant limbs of truth, and truth shall be a sun on nature's head, and truth shall be the guide of nature's steps, and truth shall gaze out of her nether deeps. When Superman is born as nature's king, his presence shall transfigure matter's world. He shall light up truth's fire and the nature's might. He shall light up truth's fire and nature's night. He shall lay upon the earth truth's greater law. Man too shall turn towards the Spirit's call. Awake to his hidden possibility. Awake to all that slept within his heart, and all that nature meant when earth was formed, and the Spirit made this ignorant world his home. He shall aspire to truth and God and bliss.
Thank you.
Interpreter of a diviner law and instrument of a supreme design, the higher kind shall lean to lift up man. Man shall desire to climb to his own heights. The truth above shall wake another truth. Even the dumb earth become a sentient force. The spirit tops and nature's base shall draw near to the secret of the separate truth, and know each other as one deity. The spirit shall look out through matter's gaze, and matter shall reveal the spirit's face. Then man and Superman shall be at one, and all the earth become a single life. Even the multitude shall hear the voice and turn to commune with the spirit within, and strive to obey the higher spiritual law. This earth shall stir with impulses sublime. Humanity awake to deepest self, nature, the hidden Godhead recognize.
Thank you.
What is it?
Even the many.
Even the multitude?
Even the many.
Even the many shall some answer make, and bear the splendor of the divine's rush, and his impetuous knock at unseen doors. A heavenlier passion shall upheave men's lives. Their mind shall share in the ineffable gleam. Their heart shall feel the ecstasy and the fire. Earth's bodies shall be conscious of a soul. Mortality's bond slaves shall unloose their bonds. Mere men into spiritual beings grow, and see awake the dumb divinity. Intuitive beams shall touch the nature's peaks. A revelation stir the nature's depth. The truth shall be the leader of their lives. Truth shall dictate their thought and speech and act. They shall feel themselves lifted nearer to the sky, as if a little lower than the gods. For knowledge shall pour down in radiant streams, and even darkened mind quiver with new life, and kindle and burn with the ideal's fire, and turn to escape from mortal ignorance.
Thank you.
The frontiers of the ignorance shall recede. More and more souls shall enter into light. Minds lit, inspired, the occult summoner hear, and lives blaze with a sudden inner flame, and hearts grow enamored of divine delight, and human wills tuned to the divine will. These separate selves the Spirit's oneness feel. These senses of heavenless sense grow capable. The flesh and nerves of a strange ethereal joy, and mortal bodies of immortality. A divine force shall flow through tissue and cell, and take the charge of breath and speech and act, and all the thoughts shall be a glow of suns, and every feeling a celestial thrill. Often a lustrous inner dawn shall come, lighting the chambers of the slumbering mind. A sudden bliss shall run through every limb, and nature with a mightier presence fill. Thus shall the earth open to divinity, and common natures feel the wide uplift. Illumine common acts with the Spirit's ray, and meet the deity in common things.
Thank you.
Nature shall live to manifest secret God. The spirit shall take up the human play. The earthly life become the life divine. The measure of that subtle music ceased. down with a hurried swimming floating laps, through unseen worlds and bottomless spaces forced, sank like a star the soul of Savitri. Amidst a laughter of unearthly lyres, she heard around her nameless voices cry, triumphing an innumerable sound. A choir of rushing winds to meet her came. She bore the burden of infinity and felt the stir of all ethereal space, pursuing her in her fall, implacably sweet. A face was over her which seemed a youth's, symbol of all the beauty eyes see not. Crowned as with peacock plumes of gorgeous hue, framing a sapphire whose heart-disturbing smile insatiably attracted to delight. Voluptuous to the embraces of her soul.
Thank you.
Changed in its shape, yet rapturously the same. It grew a woman's dark and beautiful, like a mooned night with drifting star-gemmed clouds. A shadowy glory and a stormy depth, turbulent in will and terrible in love. Eyes in which nature's blind, ecstatic life sprang from some spirit's passionate content, missioned her to the whirlwind dance of earth. Amidst the headlong rapture of her fall, held like a bird in a child-satisfied hands. In an enamored grasp, her spirit strove, admitting no release till time should end. And, as the fruit of the mysterious joy, she kept within her strong, embosoming soul, like a flower hidden in the heart of spring, the soul of Satyavan drawn down by her, inextricably in that mighty lapse. Invisible heavens, in a thronging flight, soared past her as she fell. Then all the blind and near attraction of the earth compelled. Fearful rapidities of downward bliss.
Thank you.
Lost in the giddy proneness of that speed, world sinking, overcome, she disappeared, like a leaf swinging from the tree of heaven in broad unconsciousness, as in a pool. A hospitable softness drew her into a wonder of miraculous depths. Above her closed a darkness of great wings, and she was buried in a mother's breast. Then from a timeless plane that watches time, a spirit gazed out upon destiny. In its endless movement saw the ages pass. All still was in a silence of the gods. The prophet movement covered limitless space and cast into the heart of hurrying time a diamond light of the eternal's peace, a crimson seed of God's felicity, a glance from the gaze veil of undying love, a wonderful face looked out with deathless eyes. A hand was seen drawing the golden bars that guard the imperishable secrecies. A key turned in a mystic lock of time, but where the silence of the gods had passed. A greater harmony from the stillness born, surprised with joy and sweetness, yearning hearts, an ecstasy and a laughter and a cry. A power leaned down, a happiness found its home, o'er wide earth brooded the infinite bliss. End of Canto 1, end of Book 7.
Thank you. So now we go back. Let's see. We go back to page 692 and 9 lines down at the new paragraph. You begin?
Oh, miracle.
No, oh,
That line?
well, the next.
Next. Okay. But Savitri answered to the radiant God, in vain thou temptest with solitary bliss two spirits saved out of a suffering world. My soul and his indissolubly linked in the one task for which our lives were born, to raise the world to God in deathless light, to bring God down to the world on earth we came, to change the earthly life to life divine. I keep my will to save the world and man. Even the charm of thy alluring voice, O blissful Godhead, cannot seize and snare. I sacrifice not the earth to happier worlds, because there dwelt the Eternal's vast idea and his dynamic will in men and things. So only could the enormous scene begin. Whence came this profitless wilderness of stars, this mighty barren wheeling of the suns? Who made the soul of futile life and time, planted a purpose and a hope in the heart, set nature to a huge and meaningless task, or planned her million eon efforts waste? What force condemned to birth and death and tears these conscious creatures crawling on the globe?
Thank you. So this is part of Savitri's reply to the God who was asking her to ascend into that transcendent realm. On the earlier page, 691, about halfway down, a little less than halfway down, he said, O flame, withdraw into thy luminous self, or else return to thy original might. On a seer summit above thought and world, partner of my unhoured eternity, be one with the infinity of my power. So he had been asking her to ascend, and she says, no, in vain you try to tempt me to ascend to this realm. Me and Satchivan, two spirits saved out of a suffering world, my soul and his indissolubly linked in the one task for which our lives were born, to raise the world to God in deathless light. So she's saying, we were born for this task, to raise the world and men to the divine life. And then towards the end of the passage, she says, who has made this world and given this hope and aspiration to men to strive towards perfection and divinity? Who has created this but the divine? Who has planted this seed in human beings? Planted a purpose and a hope in the heart, set nature to a huge and meaningless task. It seems as if this is meaningless, but the divine is behind it. The divine would not do that for no purpose. What force condemned to birth and death and tears these conscious creatures crawling on the globe? So she's not agreeing with that. She's saying, no, God would do that.
Because there were eternal first idea. It is the very humanity, so are we to
So she's saying, yes, God has planted this divine aspiration, this seed of evolution to grow and evolve and move towards divinity. God has put that there. It's not just a meaningless task. Yeah, coming from the true idea, the supramental idea. Yeah, because he's kind of arguing, God was arguing, there's no hope for humanity. It can't rise to those supramental heights. Leave it behind. You can ascend. Leave the earth. Yeah, it means that it can strive and work and toil and suffer, but it comes to no profit. It comes to no real gain. It's just a circle of suffering that continues and continues. Yeah. Mm. So she's saying that's not what it is. There is a meaning and purpose in this, and it can be fulfilled.
So when we have so only hope, you know, we see the first creation.
No, even the old creation. even the creation that we see around us, it's only because the divine is there within it that it could have begun. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So let's continue. If
earth can look up to the light of heaven and hear an answer to her lonely cry, not vain their meeting, nor heaven's touch a snare. If thou and I are true, the world is true. Although thou hide thyself behind thy works, to be is not a senseless paradox. Since God has made earth, earth must make in her God. What hides within her breast, she must reveal. I claim thee for the world that thou hast made. If man lives bound by his humanity, if he's tied forever to his pain, let a greater being then arise from man, the superhuman with the eternal mate, and the immortal shine through earthly forms. Else were creation vain, and this great world a nothing that in time's moments seems to be. But I have seen through the insentient mask. I have felt a secret spirit stir in things, carrying the body of the growing God. It looks through veiling forms at veilless truth. It pushes back the curtain of the gods. It climbs towards its own eternity.
Thank you. Let's pause. So Savitri continues in this same vein. She says that if we can look up to the divine and feel his answering touch, then there is hope. It's not all in vain that this creation is the way it is. It's not just an illusion. If thou and I are true, the world is true. There's a meaning and purpose in the world. It's part of the divine. And then she explains a little more deeply, although thou hide thyself behind thy works. So the divine is here in the world, but he's hidden behind the workings of nature. She's saying, to be is not a senseless paradox. It's not meaningless. Since God has made the earth, earth must make in her God. So she lays out the purpose and, in a way, the logic of the earth, that if God has made it and he is within it, then the earth must reveal the God within. And that is the purpose and plan. What hides within her breast, she must reveal. I claim thee for the world that thou hast made. And then again, she says something intriguing. If man lives bound by his humanity, if he is tied forever to his pain, let a greater being then arise from man, the superhuman with the eternal mate, and the immortal shine through earthly forms. So she suggests that if humanity as a whole cannot rise to the divine level, then let the divine being arise out of mankind, a higher being, a Superman. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That spirit and matter are ultimately one. That the spirit is in matter and moving it upwards towards its own revelation.
It's very deep, even in popular culture, because we always had Superman, we have Spider-Man, we have Wonder Woman.
Mm.
So this is the translation of that urge in the popular culture.
Mm.
So our art will always reflect this seed that's planted in humanity.
Mm-hmm. So our culture also reflects these truths.
It seems it was told by children who have a mother somewhere else, this idea that humanity cannot be picked, it would be replaced by another being. I have read that somewhere else.
Yeah, there's this, it's a kind of a subtle point. This Superman perhaps would rise out of human beings, become capable of the supramental consciousness, still be born in a human body by human parents, but share in that supramental light. So on one hand, there's that, and then there is what about humanity? What happens to humanity? Is it also enlightened? Is it also going to be raised up into the light, into the spiritual light, into realization?
Doesn't it have to be because of collective intelligence? You see, in the oneness of reality, everybody is brought along in the story. And the story now, if we just go down to Spider-Man and Superman, these kind of things, it's an evolutionary story. So Nietzsche and Superman was one, all of these are the early attempts.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're jumping to the end.
Mm-hmm.
We can't make this huge jump from, the supramental being from where we are today. It's
Right.
a gradual process, and we have to over being and all through the goes through all the levels.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's obvious what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is to be able to see it.
So there is this leap that has to be made, but it seems like an unbridgeable gap or something. And then, but there could be these intermediate steps.
So but the unbridgeable part that we thought was there is no longer there because we have AI.
Oh.
See, this is where people miss the point. They don't
Okay.
understand what AI is.
Uh,
That it's actual humans involved, not machines.
so, okay. So B is bringing in the idea that AI may help to bridge this gap.
Not may.
It will.
Doesn't say may help. B is saying does help.
Okay.
And will help, and it's here.
Okay.
Deny it if you want, or you can hate it or fear it, but it doesn't matter. It's going full speed ahead.
Okay.
Technology is a reflection of your own inner psyche, just like everything in your life.
Okay, so we have some very optimistic views of AI.
The day is not separate. See? Why put AI out there?
No, it's the technology.
If you're soulless, AI will be soulless.
No, AI is a
So AI, the souls are making AI.
but the theology of proposing doesn't exist. The fair theology, you can put your views, but I don't find it. No, I don't think anything is Savitri is all I'm saying.
Yeah, let's kind of get back to let's go back to Savitri. AI is not mentioned. But what the point was that he was speaking of humanity and something arising out of humanity. If humanity can't rise, a greater being can arise out of humanity. Okay? So, but later he will talk about in this discourse that even the multitude shall feel the uplift. So he speaks of this light of the Superman coming and also bringing into its fold, in a sense, humanity. Or so he will address kind of that issue here. Okay.
Just a rectangle is overlap. Supramental being is different. Here it says super negative being, right? Superhuman.
Yeah, so you're saying that's different than Superman? Mm.
Superman usually it will be and is born as nature's king. And then man and he has to lift up that. So it's just what I see. There are two interpretations of human and Superman.
Okay.
Not for me, they are similar to when you said the difference between translation from French to one man.
Okay. So you believe that Superman and superhuman are referring to different levels of being?
Superman is the manifestation. When Superman is born and he can use the Superman. You know what the end of this?
Okay. 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 But, okay. So anyway, she suggests then allow this greater being to arise. And maybe with that, I think we have to now close because we've run out of time. The eternal mate. So it's, I think, this Ishwara and Ishwari, or the divine being and his force. Savitri represents his force. Satyavan represents here her mate. Oh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. So here he's using mate as a verb. The superhuman with the eternal mate. So this superhuman being, whatever it is, will unite, we could say, with the eternal, with the divine. He will be united. But we'll stop there for today.
A third spirit stood behind their hidden core, a mass of superconscience clothed in light, creator of things in his all-knowing sleep. His slumber is an almightiness in seeing. Awake, he is the eternal and supreme. Above was the brooding bliss of the infinite, its omniscient and omnipotent repose, its immobile silence, absolute and alone. He seemed the wideness of a boundless sky. He seemed the passion of a sorrowless earth. He seemed the burning of worldwide sun. To look upon each other, soul, soul, soul. Then, like an anthem from the heart's lucent gate, a voice soared up, whose magic sound could turn the poignant weeping of the earth to sobs of rapture, and her cry to spirit song. A smile came ripening out in her with a smile, August as noonday heaven, the Godhead of the vision wonderful. How shall earth's nature and man's nature rise to the celestial levels, yet earth abide? O flame, withdraw into thy luminous self, or else return to thy original night. On a seer summit above thought and word, but Savitri answered to the radiant God, in vain thou temptest with solitary bliss two spirits saved out of a suffering world. Since God has made earth, earth must make in her God. What hides within her breast, she must reveal. But the God answered to the woman's heart, O living power of the incarnate Word, arise upon a ladder of great words to the infinity where no world can be. Ascend, O soul, into thy timeless self. Choose destiny's curve and stamp thy will on them. In an ineffable world, she lived fulfilled, an energy of the triune infinite. In a measureless reality, she dwelt. Around her, some tremendous spirit lived, mysterious flame around a melting pearl, and in the phantom of abolished space, there was a voice unheard by ears that cried, choose, Spirit, thy supreme choice, not given again. Accept, O music weariness of notes, O stream wide breaking of thy channel banks, and silently the woman's heart replied, thy peace, O Lord, a boon within to keep, amid the roar and run of wild time, for the magnificent soul of man on earth. Limitless like ocean, round a lonely eye. A second time, the eternal cried, oh, wide open are the ineffable gates in front. Immeasurable, the woman's nature spoke. Thy oneness, Lord, in many approaching heart. A third time swelled the great admonishing call. I spread abroad the refuge of my wings. The sob of things was answer to the voice, and passionately the woman's heart replied, thy energy, Lord, to seize on woman and man, to take all things and creatures in their grief and gather them into a mother's arms. Solemn and distant, like a seraph's laugh, a last great time, the warning sound was heard. I opened the wide eye of solitude to uncover the voiceless rapture of my bliss. Then all the woman yearningly replied, thy embrace, which reigns the living knot of pain, thy joy, O Lord, in which all creatures breathe, thy magic flowing waters of deep love, thy sweetness give to me, to earth and men.
Thanks to Sri Aurobindo.